What's going on, everybody? Today's video is going to talk about how you can increase your income within 1 month. Now, this video is geared towards two different types of people. The first person is someone who already has their business, and the second person is someone who works as a full-time employee, right, at a company or corporation, etc. So now, for the first type of person, if you already have a business, you already generated some sales, you've got some revenue, the number one thing you have to do is to stop worrying about all of these new ideas, new brilliant ideas that you have, new strategies you want to implement, new things that you want to do. Stop looking at all of these shiny different things and look internally and just focus on what's working really well for your business right now. Try to identify the single most thing that's bringing in the most sales. Usually it's Pareto's rule. 20% of the activities are going to bring 80% of the profits, right? So what is that thing? Every business is unique. What is that one thing that's generating that income, that revenue for yourself, and try to double that, right? Don't try to 10x it. A lot of people are saying like, you got to 10x it. You got to, really, how can you 10x your sales? How can you scale it? But what I've identified with a lot of my clients is that when we present this problem with that kind of a framework of how you can 10x something, they become increasingly overwhelmed by the pressure of having to really find this unique insight on how they can 10x something, right? And something that can 2x, 3x, 4x your business becomes really unsexy because you're so focused on how you can 10x something. And what happens is that you spend so much time trying to 10x it that you overlook what can 2x it, 3x it, 4x it in the short run, and you don't do anything, and you're just paralyzed because you're like, I haven't identified that unique insight. I'm so stuck. I can't figure it out. I can't find answers. You stress yourself out, and you completely overlook something that could 2x it, make you breathe a little bit easier, and then 2x it again down the road, right? So rather than try to find something to 10x, identify what's working, scratch off all the shiny new products that you want to launch, all the new services that you want to launch, all of the new things that you want to do, and just focus on how you can do more of whatever is bringing you the sales that you're generating today. So now, moving on to my second type of person. This person is someone who's fully employed, works a full-time job, part-time job, maybe you go to school, you work for a company. You're exchanging hours for dollars, right? And so what you need to start doing is to try to identify what are some things that you're good at or more knowledgeable or better than the 75% of the rest of us, right? And so you're going to have to identify what it is that you're good at and then start to create basically a side business around that thing, right? So let's just say, for example, you're a customer service representative, right? After you work your 9 to 5, you still have 5 hours at least to be able to learn a new skill, to be able to develop a skill that you have, whether it's graphic design, whether it's photography, whether it's, maybe you like to produce beats. There's so many different things that you enjoy doing already. Try to find a way to monetize that, right? If you're a lawyer, for example, and you specialize in a certain type of law, put up a YouTube channel where you're just talking about these types of things that concern people when they're going through a case that you're familiar with, right? Maybe you're an immigration attorney, and there's a lot of people out there right now that are concerned with what's going on in the immigration landscape right now, and you can just post Facebook videos, post YouTube videos, post Instagram videos talking about immigration and talking about the laws, and if a lawyer promises you this, be mindful that it might imply X, Y, or Z, and that's a different niche that you can create as well. So if you're employed full-time, what's a subject matter expertise that you can monetize that's revolved around something that you enjoy, right? It could be related to your work. It could be something that you'd enjoy as a hobby. Maybe you enjoy video games, and you can just start talking about video games, start reviewing different types of video games. Point is, make a list, grab a pen and paper, and just jot down 5 to 10 things that you enjoy or you spend a large amount of your time on, and then try to figure out how you can monetize that. If it's something that you can create a YouTube video about and publish it, that would be ideal because it's really easy to just grab your phone, record yourself talking about something, and then putting it out to the masses and distributing it not just on YouTube, but on Facebook, Instagram, and other platforms as well. If you're some kind of a freelancer where you make websites, or you're a copywriter, or whatever your service offering may be, my recommendation for you would be to niche down in just one vertical. Don't present yourself as a generalist, because as a generalist, it's like when you go to the doctor, right? Would you rather have a stomach operation by a generalist, your primary care doctor, or by a doctor who's a surgeon and specializes in that kind of a surgery, right? And so you obviously are going to pick the latter, and when you do so, that doctor is going to be able to charge a premium because of their specialty. And that's the same thing with you. If you go on Upwork, there's so many different types of Squarespace specialists, for example, or Wix specialists, or WordPress specialists. But there's a way to differentiate yourself from all of that is Maybe I'm a Squarespace developer for gay couples, for example, right? And so if you're a gay couple and you see a whole bunch of generalists, are you going to want to work with the generalist or someone who just focuses on servicing gay couples, right? So go through the exercise, find whatever it is that you're good at, better at, or more knowledgeable than the 75% of the rest of us, and try to monetize your expertise. Niche down, create yourself, bottle yourself in a niche. And a lot of people say like, well, I don't want to limit myself. But the thing is, you're going to be presented as a specialist in whatever niche that you're working on. If you're a website developer, you're going to be able to present yourself as a specialist, and people pay a premium for a specialist a lot of time. And so, unless it's something like a small commodity, then you'll go for the cheap one, right? But if it's a service that you're providing, more times than not, people prefer the premium option because they feel like it's more valuable. And so if you could say, I just focus on specializing on X, Y, or Z, people are going to pay your price. People are going to say like, oh, wow, you're specializing. That's all you do. You're very familiar with it. I want to work with you, right? So these are my strategies for how you can increase income within 1 month. You got to do the work though, right? You can't just half-assedly say, oh, what's working and what am I doing? Yeah, okay, I know that I have to do more of this. I'll figure it out later. I'm going to go and do the other things that are on my plate. No, figure out what's working. If you already own a business, what's bringing you the most sales, how you can double that, and start grinding and testing that out today. And if you're employed, a full-time employee, make a list, identify what's something that you're interested in and passionate about, and just start, executing and start promoting yourself, start going to people. And, the thing is, when you're a full-time employee and you're doing something on the side, the easiest way for you to start building up social credibility is for you to just do work for free. So if you're a website creator, let's just say you specialize in Squarespace, you're going to have to do websites for free to Squarespace to build up your portfolio and have something to point at and say, hey, these are the websites that I've created in the past, right? It's just what you have to do. I wouldn't recommend you go on Upwork because you're going to have to compete on price, and you're going to be competing against 30 to 50 offers for a lot of these different types of gigs, right? So instead, try to figure out where your audience convenes. Where if you're going to provide some kind of like a service, like a freelance service, you have to identify where your target audience convenes. Where do they get information? Where do they get inspiration from? Where do they hang out? And you're going to have to present yourself there. LinkedIn is a great option if you're providing those kinds of services, or just showing up if you're providing website creating services. If you're like a website developer, show up to restaurants and say, hey, I'll recreate your website for you and modernize it because I need a portfolio work. And then once you have actual portfolio work, then you can basically start charging and ask them to give you referrals and things like that. So these are the strategies that I've implemented myself and that I've helped my clients implement for them to increase their income within a month. And you have to just do it though. You have to really do it. You can't just half-assedly do it and expect to get results. You have to go all in. And so let me know what you think. Are there other strategies that you've done yourself that have increased your income in a short period of time? Do you have any questions on how you can implement this in your company, in your business, or as if you're a full-time employee, do you have any questions about how you can implement this yourself? Leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I'll see you guys next time.